Okay, hi. Now we're happy. We got our partner with us. Yes, we was not happy when we didn't have our partner with us. I was not happy. The weather's a little cooler right now, because it is 7 o'clock and the temperature is 78 degrees. We got up to about 85 degrees today. Yeah, yeah, we did. Um, So, of course, you know, nobody's been answering the $1 million question, right? We're 5 days away from our tax deadline here in America, right? April 15th is the tax deadline, right? And I don't hear anybody talking about, their taxes as a digital nomad, making money in other countries using that content. I don't hear about that, right? I don't hear about how people are getting these gratuitous merchandise, right, that has a value in exchange for a promo on their channel, advertisement channel, of course. All right, I'm not hearing about none of this, but why aren't they talking about it? Why? I want to know. Are they sweeping the dirt under the rug? I want to know. Because they make it seem so appealing that if you do what they do and you live like they live, that you can get this glamorous lifestyle where people are just throwing money at you and you never have to pay taxes on it. I'm like, what? Where do they do that at? I don't think it's even free in hell, much less heaven. Okay. Now, when I came to Texas, right, I moved to Texas by way of Long Beach, California. Okay? I had to take a pay cut because the cost of living was less than, right? And they were like, well, we're not going to pay you, what you were getting paid in California because the cost of living in California is more expensive. That's the only reason why you was getting paid more, right? Okay, so let's keep that in context. We have people on the East Coast. Let's just say Washington, D.C., right? New York. Let's say New York, right? These people in New York, they're having to pay anywhere from $6,000 to $10,000 a month just to have an adequate apartment. Okay? So what had happened is a lot of them were like, oh, we get to work from home. Oh, we're working remote. Oh, I don't have to live within, a certain demographic of the business. Oh, no problem. So we had all of these people moving abroad, right? They moved over there to Thailand, which is supposed to be cheap, right? They moved over to Mexico, which is supposed to be cheap, right? They moved over to Vietnam, which is supposed to be cheap, right? And then we got everybody in between. Basically, people were saying, besides, what is that? Monaco and Switzerland, America and England, everything is expensive to live. Every place is expensive to live. Okay? But the most expensive is Monaco, America, England, and Switzerland. Okay? So, once you move out of someplace that's expensive and you move into somewhere and you start living somewhere where it's less expensive, it's easier on your disposable income. It is. It's easier on your disposable income. However, here's the problem. The problem is once you move there and say you start setting up your budget, right? You got more disposable income. So now, I don't know, maybe you're making more, budgetary commitments into buying other things. It could be you might be making budgetary commitments to buy into stock. Who knows? But you're making additional budgetary commitments. Right? So once I have moved here to Texas, and even if it wasn't working out for me, right? In my mind, after being here for a while, it was like I had to make this plan work out. Because, number one, the cost of living was a lot more cheaper than it was in California. To live here in Texas costed maybe a third of what it costs to live in California. So I had to change my mindset and say, okay, well, I am losing $2,500. I am losing $500 a month. The cost of living is better. Also, the gasoline was cheaper. Everything seemed cheaper. So this was going to help me, in my mind, get out of debt. Okay? However, because the employment rate was so much lower, I was not able to get out of debt like I had anticipated. Right? Even trying to adjust to living in cheaper apartments, it still had a way of making it to where I was just breaking even or slightly below. And I'm scratching my head trying to figure this out, right? And and then when I couldn't figure it out how I was going to get out of debt when I'm getting paid less because the cost of living is less, now I'm starting to feel like I done put myself behind the 8 ball, right? I done put myself behind the 8 ball because I can't make a move because my income is low, and trying to get out is going to cost me much, much more, and I can't save any money. I tried to pay off what little bit of debt I could, and I'm like, okay, what is this? What is this? Right? I couldn't go back to California. I couldn't go back to Seattle. Oh my God. The cost of living in those areas have skyrocketed. Okay? Now, even though I'm here in Texas and the cost of living is less, okay? It's less. But what I hadn't anticipated was Texas was going through gentrification, right? Everybody heard about Texas is a cheaper place to live. And Texas doesn't have all of these taxes, right? They don't have city tax. They don't have county tax, right? They don't have state tax. All they have is income tax. Boom. Everybody's like, that's a savings right there, where they feel like they get more of their income. Okay? Then the cost of living, right? Property is cheaper here than in other places. At least it was. But like I said, this upgrade that's occurring here in Texas and the migration of these other people coming to Texas has also created an imbalance, right? And that goes back to the video that I had where foreign countries were deciding, oh, you want to, cause some kind of gentrification to our country? No, we're going to have a separate price for foreigners, separate from the price that we give to the locals, right? And you could swear and throw and have a tantrum, throw yourself on the floor and pound your feet and your hands and say, no, that's not fair. But it is fair, right? Because you wanted to go someplace and capitalize off of the lower rates, and then take that back to where you live. Kind of like what I was talking about in that video where this man married a Canadian woman. Now, Canadians, their cost of living is high, okay? People don't talk about it because the government has a lot of control. And I guess, they don't want to make the government mad and, lose the blessings of the government. So they don't talk bad about their country. Now, Americans truly, truly can learn from that type of respect for the government, right? Because if y'all hadn't fucked around and found out that Gemini Trump has an evil twin, y'all thought he was simple and was just lucky, and he tried to tell you, no, that's not the case, right? So now you living every day mad because you swore up and down, ain't no way. You don't care if you had to create some type of false imprisonment charges and a witch hunt. You just knew Trump wasn't going to get back into becoming president, right? You guys went and just forgot all about statute of limitations, all of that, bringing people out of 25 years, 30, 40 years of his history, where these people were talking about, oh yeah, 40 years ago, I was sexually harassed by, that, 30-year-old Trump. Right? And why did you guys do that? Why? Now, you guys are trying to lead the country. And Trump ain't worried about you leaving the country, because this is the $1 million question. Your taxes follow you outside of the country. What? Yeah, your taxes, they follow you outside of the country. Some people don't even know that right now there's only 33 countries that are cooperating with the child support system of America. Only 33, right? Out of the 195 countries they got. That's a very small amount. However, when you guys start talking about being passport bros, right? And that your passport was used to exemplify a rape culture. Let me clarify that. Rape and pillage culture. All right, let's keep it real. People are going to be like, oh, no, you're not coming over here, turning our girls. And let's be real, they only want girls, not ladies and not women. They want girls. Which is what? Pedophilia at its best. Okay? Pedophilia at its best. Right? And some of these women are getting impregnated, thinking that this guy is going to bring them to America and marry them. And even if they don't marry them, there'll be some type of common law marriage. What? That's what they're thinking. Right? He done went abroad and told them, oh yeah, all those women in America are sluts and whores. Okay. How did they become sluts and whores? The same thing that they're doing to these foreign women today, which is having them party with them, having them sleeping with them, a lot of times without protection, without checking to see if these people have a clean bill of health. Not even a clean bill of health, right? Not knowing the history of some of these people. I just got finished watching a group of men. Most of them were trans men. these men went as a group to Thailand. And they went to the cabaret. And what they talked about was going on in the cabaret was the cabaret was full of either trans men, whether they were transvestites or transgender, it doesn't matter. Okay? So, then I was watching another video. Okay? And this video was it Bali? Or Istanbul? Anyway, it was a foreign country. But who they had twirling around in a lit up skirt. A skirt with lights on it. Okay? Was a man. Not a woman, a man. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. I don't know if we can go walking down here because it looks like all of the parking spots are full. Oh, here's one right over here. Let's go over here and park. So yeah. Oh, I don't like that dip. That's too big of a dip in the road for me. Let's go up here to the top of the hill and see if we can find a parking spot. Okay. So this man, in his video, he's a trans man, right? He just recently went to, I believe it was Mexico, and just bought him a rack of breasts to put on. Okay? So, then these men, they come back with receipts and videos in hand telling America they are so far behind when it comes to trans and transgender. She's so excited. She's been in the house for 4 days. I'm telling you, even I'm a little excited because I've been so sad not having my partner with me. I've been sad. You're like, let's go. So we're going to go out here and take a walk. But getting back to what my point was this guy went with a whole group of trans people. He was actually promoting this whole excursion, right? In order for him to get this vacation in Thailand for free. And I'm like, yeah, it's free, but it has a value, right? Whatever company that's sponsoring this is probably at the end of the year going to send him, a 1099, letting them know that gift, that free trip, right? It was free, but you still got to be taxed on it. Now, this is not uncommon, right? Even if you win the lotto, they tell you, okay, you win the lotto, you're still going to have to pay money on your lotto winnings. You go to the casino. You still are supposed to pay money on your wins. Okay? Nobody's talking about the taxes of these extras or these things that have been reclassified even though they're not classified with accountability. Hold on.